Germany has sworn in a new leader for the first time in 16 years. Olaf Scholz won the general election in September, and the German parliament officially backed him this morning. The 63-year-old takes control from now former Chancellor Angela Merkel, whom he knows well. He previously served as her vice chancellor. Merkel, who was the country's first female chancellor, decided not to seek re-election this year. She wished Scholz luck during the handover ceremony. Joining us now from Berlin is CBS News reporter Anna Norskevich. Hi, Anna. So tell us a little bit more about Scholz's new government and the three-way coalition he formed.
Hi, Tanya. So here we are with a new government in Germany. And as you said, we have a three-way coalition, which is the first time that happens in German history. The Social Democrats, so Olaf Scholz's party, formed a coalition with the Green Party and the business-friendly FDP with the Liberals, which was quite a difficult road to get there because all the three parties, of course, have different agendas and different focuses in their agendas. But right now we hear they signed a coalition deal yesterday, and it's a new government.
And what can you tell us about Scholz and how he's being received internationally? I mean, he's a new large figure on the international scene, and how are people warming up to him?
So I think especially internationally, people for now won't see much of a difference because he has this calm demeanor that Mrs. Merkel, former Chancellor Merkel is known for. And so to say, Germans, but also the international community sees that it's a pair of safe hands. He has a stoic calm, just like his predecessor. So right now, also for the German public, it's for people who did not vote for his party. They still see, okay, maybe the difference won't be that big because he has a lot that Mrs. Merkel also had. And what I really like is one of Merkel's biographers once said that Merkel used to lead the country like a CEO would lead a big multinational corporation. And this is basically what we can also expect from Olaf Scholz. He has lots of similarities with Mrs. Merkel. So also diehard supporters will, diehard CDU supporters will still support Olaf Scholz. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Anna. So it sounds like things aren't going to change too much right off the bat. I want to ask you about the pandemic, though, because Germany is, of course, still struggling with it, seeing COVID-19 cases surge in some parts of the nation. What is this new administration's plan to deal with that?
So first and foremost, a vaccine mandate, which surprisingly is still something that is what has not been implemented in Germany. It's still up to each and every individual if they want to get vaccinated or not. And right now, I mean, the debate has been massive when it comes to mandatory vaccination. This is on top of the agenda. But until this goes through Parliament and until the vote happens in Parliament, it's probably going to be too late to break the fourth wave. And Germany was hit hard by the fourth wave. And of course, this is now one of the first crises that Olaf Scholz will have to tackle. Also financially, the new government is willing to take new loans to help businesses and individuals financially through the pandemic. But of course, the focus right now is to get as many people vaccinated as possible.
And then, of course, aside from the pandemic, what are some of the biggest priorities and challenges the new administration faces?
Very importantly, especially because of the coalition with the Green Party, of course, is the climate crisis. Germany plans to be completely climate neutral by 2045. Phasing out of coal by 2030, and also investing a lot in renewable energy. Another crisis is definitely what we're seeing now in Ukraine. Chancellor Scholz has been very vocal about the Russian aggression at the border with Ukraine. So together with the pandemic, this is something that he will have to look out for. And he has been vocal that there will be no exception of any Russian aggression towards Ukraine.
On that point, I guess the U.S. is in agreement with Germany. All right. Well, Anna Noraskevich in Berlin, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.